Welcome to my classroom. Summer's over and it's time to get back to school. Find your desk, get out your notebook, and get ready for your first lesson of the year. I'm Michelle. I'm a certified dog trainer and I'm going to be your teacher for the next little bit. Today's topic: how to prepare your puppy for back to school. No, not the puppy's back to school, but your back to school. Now, whether you're a teacher or a student or your household is full of small humans who have school, I'm guessing you're about to have a big shift in the schedule. That's why we're here today, to learn how to prepare your puppy for that big change. Now, have you ever seen those adorable videos of the dogs greeting the kids when they get off the bus? So sweet, am I right? But if you have a new puppy, it probably doesn't seem like you'll get there anytime soon. Instead, you're probably worried about getting him out for a potty break to avoid accidents while you're gone, or making sure he's not crying in the crate all day long. Maybe even helping him not be so sad that some or all of his humans are gone all day. Or maybe you're working out his nap schedule so he's awake and not a biting land shark when the kids come home and are ready to play. And what about meeting his exercise and enrichment needs around a busy school schedule? And finally, getting to bed and allowing the humans to sleep so everyone is rested for the school day. I'm here to help you with those concerns. I've been working with puppies for over 20 years, and my dogs and I have been through a lot of schedule changes, including my own household going back to school or work or some kind of big change. So I'm here today to help you through whatever schedule change you're about to experience. Now, your first assignment with today's lesson is to hit that subscribe button. The learning does not end with this video, and you won't want to skip class the next time one comes out. So, some of you might have a new furry member of the family since you were last in school. Now, I know a lot of teachers who take advantage of the summer break to bring home a new puppy. They are smart. They know that new puppies are a lot of work and take a lot of time, so they plan for being off of work. But now what? What happens with that new puppy now that it's time for you or your kids to head back to school? Let's get started. So the very first thing I want you to do is evaluate your puppy's physical needs at the time school starts. Puppies can normally hold their bladder for about an hour per month of age. Now, when they're active, they can't hold it as long. And when they're quiet and resting, they can hold it longer. Now, I want you to remember that last part about resting because that's going to play a big part in my advice that comes up in just a little bit. Knowing how often your puppy needs to go out will allow you to put together a schedule that meets that need. And if you're planning on using a pee pad to cut down on those outings, sorry, that's not a passing grade in my book. Pee pads don't teach the puppy the #1 goal in potty training: go outside. Trust me, you'll have a lifetime of accidents in the house if you teach the puppy that it's okay to go in the house. Now, if you're struggling with potty training, this free digital new puppy starter kit will be your study buddy. The link to grab this is in the description below. Now, once you evaluate your puppy's bladder schedule, you'll want to next figure out what their normal nap schedule is. So this graphic is something we use a lot when advising students in our online course at the pro level. This is a guide to help you make sure you're not asking your puppy to be awake for longer than he's reasonably capable of, nor nap longer than he's capable of. Now, adjusting those expectations is half the battle. So you can see from this chart that your pup might need a nap after just a few hours of being awake. But that awake time also has to incorporate a variety of activities. They keep your dog's brain and body active and engaged and fulfilled. So you have a role to play in every wake window. That really is just a guide, but you get the idea that there are wake windows. There are necessary activities in those wake windows, and there are also much needed sleep windows too. Knowing these windows for your puppy will allow you to further plan your day to meet his needs, either with your own schedule or having someone come in and help you out when you're gone. After evaluating how long the dog can be awake and how often he's going to need to go out for potty, you'll also need to evaluate his eating schedule. Now, how does that schedule work with your new one? Well, most puppies still need that middle of the day meal when they are under 6 months of age. And sorry, but I don't recommend leaving the food out all day. That's not gonna get a passing grade from me either. Mealtime is a great time for enrichment activities like foraging or sniffing. It's great for some training games, and it's also going to influence the potty schedule. So I suggest that you or someone else is always there for a mealtime. Now you might be thinking, but Michelle, that's a whole lot. How can I get all that taken care of while running my kids back and forth to school? Well, sorry Charlie, but that puppy has physical needs, so I can't really change that. But just like I advise the folks who are working full-time, there are some great options for friends or neighbors or even a pet sitter professional to look in on your puppy to take care of those needs while you're gone. And don't worry, it won't always be this labor intensive. As your puppy grows, you can start to drop some of the potty breaks, maybe that midday meal, and naps and wake windows get longer too. But if you have a young puppy, you're probably not there just yet. Now, one other thing you're going to want to evaluate is your puppy's capacity for being away from his humans. Yes, this is a real thing. Many puppies settle into their human families just fine and rest quietly in the crate while the humans are busy or they're gone. But we do get the occasional pup who has separation anxiety or just lacks crate confidence. And those guys do not have a lot of tolerance for being away from their humans without more training and confidence building. Now, I get a lot of questions about separation anxiety in my Facebook group, Puppy Training with Michele Lennon. True separation anxiety looks different than normal puppy complaining and fussing, which is common when first beginning crate training. Separation anxiety is a much more serious case of anxiety and panic when the dog is left alone. From a very early age, you'll want to build up the crate as a safe and comfortable place. You'll want to make sure that your puppy experiences safe alone time on a regular basis. And if the crate is a place of panic or stress, this is not a comfortable place yet. That means you're going to do more work to make it a good place for your puppy to rest. Now, if you leave your puppy home while you're at school or taking the kids to and from school, he should be in the crate. But if he panics while he's in there, then he should not. Well, at least not yet anyway. That's why this is really important to work on before you have a schedule change that requires him to be in the crate. True separation anxiety in anxious pups have to be evaluated on an individual basis. Understanding what your puppy's threshold is for being alone and working slowly to increase the duration and distance away is how we help build up puppy confidence. Now, we work through this process a lot with our students in our online course. Caring for an anxious pup needs a strong understanding of canine body language and a commitment to the process. So consider enrolling in my online course at the pro level if you'd like some help with that. Just be sure to work on it before you need your pup to be in the crate while you're away from the house. My next tip, whenever you're looking at the schedule change for a puppy, it's really best to look at the schedule you'd like to see and kind of work backwards. So I talked a little bit about that in this video here on working full-time with a puppy. Now, based on what your schedule is when you go back to school, evaluate your end goal. Let's go over a few common scenarios. Maybe you are hoping your pup will do most of his napping while you're gone. That way, he's quiet in the crate. He doesn't bother the neighbors, he can hold his bladder longer, and he'll be awake when the kids get home. Okay, that's great, that's a good goal. But first, you're gonna need to evaluate how much your pup is napping during that time now. Dogs are naturally crepuscular, which means they're active in the morning and evening, but often more quiet and sleepy during the day. Now, you can't count on that with a puppy, but in general, that's the case. That will work in your favor. Now, based on your puppy's nap schedule now, you'll want to try to extend or shift the times so it better aligns with your school schedule. Now, you can start adjusting naps by about 15 minutes a day. See if that works. If it doesn't go very well, you might have to drop your criteria back down and shift it to about 5 or 10 minutes a day until you reach your desired schedule. This may seem slow to you, but if you've ever tried to change your kids' nap schedules, you'll know that the rip the band-aid off method doesn't usually work so well. And with puppies, it takes slow and steady adjustments too. I also don't recommend leaving the puppy in a pen while you're gone. With more room to move around, it will not promote rest and relaxation, and it could mean he needs more potty breaks. The goal when you're gone is for your pup to just snooze in the crate. What about activities that you do want your pup to participate in? Are you hoping your puppy will enjoy going with you to drop off or pick up your kids? Well, then you're going to want to make sure he agrees with that I know a lot of people enjoy taking their dog in the car, and a lot of dogs love that too. So it might work great if you invite your dog along with you for the ride. It's good exposure training. He'll likely get some good sniffs in from the window while you're in the parking lot, and he's probably just happy to be with his humans. If your pup is fearful of the car, please don't take him with you to pick up the kids until you've worked on that. Just like with the crate training, if you push him past his comfort zone without the proper positive reinforcement and the baby steps, you're gonna make it much worse, and he could have a lifelong problem. Now, you can check out 2 really good resources on cars and fear by watching this video and this one too. Now, another popular option is for the puppy to go with you when you walk to the bus stop. This is a great way to build in a nice walking routine with your dog. Just remember that this will be your walk, and you'll want to plan for your puppy's walk to come at another time, hopefully before or after the bus stop walk. You see, dogs like to learn about their environment when they walk. This would be like you reading the information plaques when you go to the museum. You'll learn a lot. A dog does this by sniffing. So if you're on a mission to get to the bus stop on time, you might not have a lot of time for that puppy sniffing. So be sure to either leave earlier, so there's time for the sniffing, or factor in some time at another part of the day for your pup to get that all in. And if you haven't heard of decompression walks yet, yes, check out this video next. These walks are going to be a really helpful part of helping your puppy settle when it's time for a nap, and also get out all that puppy energy when he's awake. Now, your walk to the bus stop probably won't be too decompressing, so schedule that walk in at another time. That video will tell you the difference between a neighborhood walk and a decompression walk. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is dogs love novelty, so that same route to the bus stop might get pretty boring. Now, if you can, vary up the route. Leave earlier and go the long way so your dog gets to learn about other parts of the neighborhood. And it's totally fine to incorporate your pup on your bus stop errand, but just try to meet his needs as well as yours. Now, the other thing you'll want to keep in mind is your dog's individual personality when it comes to things he's going to encounter on this car trip to the school or the walk to the bus. Now, if your dog lacks a little confidence around a lot of noise and active people, these activities might not be so enjoyable for him. The best 2 things you can do are, number 1, work on exposing him to new things in a positive way when he's young. And number 2, evaluate if he has the personality for these kinds of outings. He's not a blank slate. He does have some innate preferences. You can try to desensitize the process, but if he acts like he doesn't want to be there, maybe it's time to leave him home. You will also want to be a good advocate for him when you're around other children. Dogs and kids can be best buddies, or maybe not. It's extremely important to teach the kids that they should wait to be invited to pet the dog, and not to invade his space. If the kids aren't able to do that, skip the outing or put some additional space between them and your pup. Believe me, when a dog is stressed and has no choice but to bite to get the message across, it doesn't end well for anyone. So save yourself the heartache of dealing with that really difficult situation. This is a really good video on how to advocate for your dog, especially if he's not so keen on being greeted. It's still a possibility to take him with you to pick up the kids, but figure out how you'll make it comfortable for him and safe for everyone. So now let's talk about what happens when the school day is over. So the excitement of the kids getting back home will likely lead to an excited puppy. Plan ahead for this, including some good games the kids can play. Now, I think they'd probably love a flirt pole or a game of romping around in the backyard with the puppy. This time is not the time to expect your puppy to nap. Now, helping your kids learn some fun games to do with the pup is a great activity for this time. And the kids will probably love it too. Many of the games in my online course are great for kids and dogs to do together. Now, I suggest the parents learn the games first and get it down to a science, then teach it to the kids. That's the best success rate for everyone. Just remember that when the activity is over, the pup will likely need a transition activity so he can return to some independent play. Usually this involves licking or chewing. Now, I give my dogs short times with a bully stick or a yak chew, fully supervised of course, when they're transitioning from a training to a rest. And you probably already knew this, but if you have an after-school activity, be sure to evaluate your pup's capacity to be alone again. Now, after a long week at school, you are probably ready to sleep in on a Saturday and Sunday. Well, I'm here to ruin your fun once again. Puppies don't know Saturdays and Sundays. every day is puppy day to them. While the puppy is young, it's really best to keep the same schedule every day, especially if you're working on shifting it. Consistency is key with puppy training. Now, it won't always be this way, but for now, with a young puppy, it's really going to help you if you keep a pretty close schedule all the days of the week. Sleep experts recommend this schedule consistency for humans too. Just remember that schedule changes are a little disconcerting to some dogs. You will likely see some shift in behavior, which is the puppy just trying to adjust to the kids being gone. Your dog will appear sad, but likely more he's just reacting to the decrease in energy in the home. Now, if you've planned ahead and you're working hard to meet your pup's needs along with the schedule change, it should work itself out in a week or two. Now, if you've been following me at all, you know that I'm not a fan of doggy daycares. It rarely meets the dog's needs in any meaningful way and often creates other problems that are frustrating for humans. So if you want to know more about this, check out this video here. Now, the next part is where I give you the light at the end of the tunnel. So as your puppy gets older, you're going to notice that he can be more flexible with the schedule changes. This means half days at school or random holidays, and yes, even weekends won't be a big deal. Now, when your pup is much older, it may be possible for him to sleep with you on some days, but get up early on others. That sounds like a dream, am I right? It will probably happen, but not yet. That's not likely to happen for a few years. So keep your expectations low and your patience high. And remember, the more you meet his needs outside of the time you need him to meet yours, the better you will be. Okay, well, in this classroom, we believe in homework. So in addition to those videos I mentioned above, today's homework is to write down, yes, write it down, your puppy's current schedule. You can use the sample page from our new puppy starter kit for this activity. Now, I want you to write down what your schedule will probably look like when school's in session. Notice the parts that don't align too well, and then I want you to put a plan in place to start moving them closer together. So just remember, you can do that by adjusting your puppy's schedule and finding some additional puppy help when you're away. Did you learn something new today? At least this lesson didn't last as long as those other 8-hour days at school, am I right? But if you're in the mood for more, you have hundreds of hours of content on this channel to keep you busy while your kids are gone. You'll be a pro at puppies by the time you're ready for Christmas break. All right, in the comments below, tell me, when is someone in your home ready to go back to school? And how are you going to manage that puppy?